This is Kathy Biehl of Empowermentunlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of April 9, 2018. Labor pains are turning into contractions and pushing us out another metaphoric birth canal. Pressures are bearing down on us that we cannot avoid, and they are reshaping us. It's a huge week of evolutionary shuddering, pushing, and popping. What's breaking forth now has been building within us for years, probably since 2012 in some way, if you can sit and think about it with enough distance. The tectonic shifts are positioning us to be aware of and to embrace extremely mundane, practical, physical, tangible desires, and also set in motion the actions to bring them into fulfillment. And this has a long-term play out to it. So our hearts are saying, this is what I want, and it's not some chick flick or romanticized, gauzy vision. It's a very tangible list of demands. It's like sending your breakfast order to the kitchen and the waiter bringing it back to you. The order may take a little longer than what you would like to be fulfilled, but it's being fulfilled. We have desire and motivation. We have an awareness of what we want, and we also have the stick-to-itiveness and the drive, the initiative to get going and keep going on whatever these long-term goals are. This influence bodes beautifully for relationships, for things becoming more concrete, more stabilized, firmer in a structure. In fact, this week has a huge arc of relationships bursting into new form. Along the way, we do have access to higher influences, to guidance, to a spiritual, compassionate, higher form of loving, bent toward everything. If you're involved in anything the slightest bit creative, there are openings this week to pull all kinds of inspiration down. And at the other end, we are in touch with the deepest, most powerful, perhaps most personally terrifying parts of our beings. This is a week of really navigating the bridge of existence from the deepest part of ourselves to the highest part of ourselves, and both ends being highly active and open to us. You can get incredible clarity about what's going on in your psyche. You can get incredible clarity about the tectonic shifts that have been occurring in you and are now causing you to shapeshift. You can expand this rebuilding of your infrastructure. You can pull deep and beautiful treasures out of your psyche. You can face demons, dispatch them, dispel them, turn them into allies. And again, if you are the slightest bit creative, go for it this week. You may be astonished at what flows through you. All week long, a communication and travel advisory remains in effect. Mercury is in the final week of his retrograde and slowing to his station. So if you look at things with this in mind, you might have an occasional experience of life being suspended in front of you, so that you can walk around situations and view them from different vantage points. While slowing into the direct station will give this incredible slowness to life, which can be frustrating, it can also afford you the time to see things that you didn't see before, to reevaluate situations, to pick up loose ends that you dropped or that someone didn't put in a proper place. So when you hit a snarl, a snafu, a delay, yeah, maybe you'll scream. This retrograde is in Aries. It can be extraordinarily maddening. Remind yourself, even if you're shredding your vocal cords yelling, which I say from experience, Remind yourself that there is something you can learn and pick up from the slowing down, from the delay. Now, Mercury stations direct on the day of the Aries new moon, which is the 15th, the 16th in Europe, the 15th in the Western Hemisphere. This is going to hit the reset button on your view of yourself, your experience of yourself as an individual and a free agent. Emphasis on the word free, because this Aries new moon is conjunct rebellious, awakening Uranus, cosmic radical and agent of unpredictable change. So some part of you is going to break free in a way that you haven't been able to, that you've been pushing and pushing to do since 2010. And now you can finally burst through. Uranus is at the end of Aries. It is completing its time in the sign of Aries. In May, it moves into the sign of Taurus. So this is the last Aries new moon that will be conjunct Uranus for most of our lifetimes. So let me reframe that. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event for most of us, and it is a breakthrough moment that we have been chomping at the bit to get to. And while there is a very strong, volatile, unpredictable, uncontrollable element to this, because Uranus is the player, you may as well direct, harness, invoke this, and set your intentions for this new moon to be more daring, more individualistic, more bold, more forceful in your expression of yourself. And if there's anything specific you've been trying to get out of, burst out of, this new moon has the force of dynamite to blast you out of it. This is going to be happening across the board. On a collective level, something massive is going to explode as a result of this new moon, because the moon is not only conjunct Uranus, thrower of lightning bolts, it is with two asteroids, Phaeton and Apollo. We know Apollo as the god of the arts. He may also represent homosexuality, and he does represent leadership. Phaeton was the son, S-O-N, of the sun, S-U-N, god Helios, who confronted his dad for proof of his paternity, and he got to drive the chariot of the sun. He didn't know what he was doing. He careened wildly out of control. He was so reckless that he actually endangered the earth, and Zeus had to intervene and send lightning, Uranus, to strike him down, to keep him from destroying the planet. Leadership, recklessness, divine intervention to prevent the destruction of the planet. Hang on to those concepts, and then you can send me email when something in the news makes you think of this podcast. What might that mean for you personally? If you've been careening wildly out of control in some area of life, you will be stopped. Homing thought of the week? Here we go. Song of the week, I have 3. This is The Moment from Jekyll and Hyde. We're Not Gonna Take It from The Who's Tommy, and We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister. And the image of the week is a slingshot. You'll find more about all this at my website, Empowermentunlimited.net, where you can read my forecast for April. Later in the week, you can see my forecast for the Aries new moon. It is not up as of the time that I am recording this, and you can sign up for my mailing list and book a session with me. Talk to you next week.